to kick us off. Yes, hello and welcome along to Barcelona. Just 1 week on from the Catalan Grand Prix. And now it's time for the Grand Prix stars of the future to take centre stage here with the Junior Moto3 World Championship getting the action underway. It's Jack Appleyard and Jack Gorst in the commentary box for you this afternoon, with our eyes focusing in on the championship leader, the hat-trick hero, Dani Holgado, who's looking to create history by becoming the first man in the Moto3 Junior World Championship to take 5 straight victories in the class. But Jack, he's going to have to do it the hard way in our opening race. And this is why highlights from 2 races in Valencia.
Yeah, so this was last time out in Valencia then, and Dani Holgado on pole. Everyone watched on as the guys got underway for race 1. He led away from the line, but there was competition close behind in the form of Diogo Moreira and also Ivan Ortola.
Yeah, the pair were battling it out from the first lap to the very last as well. If you've never seen a Junior World Championship race before, then this is just a little taster of what to expect in a few moments' time. It is always elbow bashing, bar bashing, and the rest action from the start to the very end. We got to the final corner, and this is exactly why Holgado will have to do it the hard way this afternoon. A long lap penalty for that move right there on Takuma Matsuyama. Got his elbow out, stuck him on the green stuff, and as a result of that, he'll have to go through the long lap penalty route in our opening race of the day. Takuma Matsuyama, meanwhile, did pick up a debut podium finish. Holgado won't be the only Gas Aspar man to go for the long lap penalty loop in our opening race, though, with teammate David Alonso also taking a trip through after taking out Joel Kelso in that incident there. It was the same old faces at the front as we got to the closing stages, with Moreira unable to see the checkered flag with a monster high side in the final sector. That allowed Holgado to escape and make it 3 out of 3 to start 2021.
So the perfect start to life in 2021 then for Daniel Holgado. Good morning to everyone watching along. My name's Jack Gorst, just to introduce myself. 29 degrees, absolutely beautiful conditions here in sunny Barcelona. And as Jack has said, the first race of the day is the Moto3 Junior World Championship, and these guys really are the rising stars of the future. So 16 laps coming up, they're all on the grid, ready to go. How are you feeling for this one, Jack?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Conditions could not be better as well. Of course, if you joined us for the Catalan Grand Prix last weekend, the temperature has gone up a good 4, 5, maybe even 6 degrees from last weekend to this weekend. It really does feel like summer has started here in Barcelona this week alone. Yesterday, it was over 30 degrees here at the circuit. It's going to be touching the same today as well. Track temperature, more importantly, upwards of 50 degrees. It is super hot out there, and as a result, these guys having to do 16 laps. We may well see in the final 3 or 4 laps, tyre life will play a vital role in this race. Speaking with Joel Kelso, who we'll get on to, who's starting from further back later on, said that's going to be a key issue. But starting from pole position is this man for the very first time, Super Mario Adji.
Yeah, of course, I'm very happy. My first pole position in this championship. I'm proud of the team. They are working very well, and we deserve this. I have a good pace in this qualifying practice, and I aim my first podium for tomorrow in 2 races. Yeah, I try my best. Thank you for my family and team for always support me.
We'll have a lot of Indonesian fans tuning in, and he has done you proud yesterday. Mario Adji starting from pole position for the first time in his career, and to put that lap time into some perspective, it would have put him 4th on the grid for last week's Moto3 Grand Prix. An impressive pace from the number 16.
Yeah, very impressive pace, particularly, as you say, Jack, with the extremely hot temperatures we've had here. You know, even just from Monday at the post-MotoGP Grand Prix test. From Monday to now, the track temperature and the air temperature has gone up so much. So for Mario Aggi to put in that lap time that would have put him fourth on the grid in the Moto3 World Championship is quite something special. One other thing to point out as well is that in the afternoon, with these track temperatures raising, often a lot of these guys are struggling to find that same pace as they are in the morning. So there's a few runners that are better in the morning compared to what they are in the afternoon. So we may well see some variation from race 1 about to happen now to race 2 coming up later.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 different races, which is good for you watching from home. Second on the grid, Josito Garcia, part of the 658 Squadra Corsa squad. Don't be surprised to see him in the World Championship next year. He's not had the greatest start to the season so far. On a Saturday, he's been fantastic. The best qualifier so far. 4th on the grid for Estoril, a front row start, 3rd for Valencia, and now 2nd here in Barcelona. But he needs to pick up some points to try chip away at Danny Holgado. Another man in fine form is Asia Talent Team's Takuma Matsuyama, a debut Junior World Championship podium last time out, and now, Jack, he's got some Grand Prix experience under his belt as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. We've seen him in a couple of the Moto3 World Championship races in the last few rounds, and he hasn't done too bad, to be fair. He's not been so far off the pace. He's just slowly been chipping away from it, and from what we've heard, rumours in the paddock, the team seems to be quite happy with the way that he's been working, and they'll certainly be happy with the way he's been working here in the Junior World Championship. Consistency's really been the key for him. Obviously, his results 6th and 2nd, you saw in race 2 in Valencia, he was down in 23rd, but he had a few problems in that race, so certainly Matsuyama is another one that's going to be fighting in that top group so long as he can stay out of trouble.
Front in the row 2 of the grid, Ivan Orto, the man currently sat 3rd in the championship, as you can see there. Currently 41 points adrift of Holgado. Just to put into a little bit of context, Holgado's dominance so far, 3 wins on the trot, obviously 75 points. He's already 38 clear of his next rival, David Salvador, who starts a long way down, 3rd row of the grid for Salvador on the TM machine. So a lot of the guys on the grid are going to have to start getting the better of Holgado. Even though we're only at round 3, race 4 of the championship, he's already got quite a comfortable margin out front.
Yeah, he's doing a bit of a Pedro Acosta, isn't he? And as we turn to the man now, number 96, Daniel Holgado, don't forget he will have to take a long lap penalty in this race for that small incident with Takuma Matsuyama in race 1 in Valencia, as you saw in the highlights package. There you see it, his dominance, 1-1-1 in the first 3 races of the year. It really is just the cream of the crop at the moment in 2021. But we've seen that this weekend they've been much closer to his kind of free practice in qualifying pace, so it may well not be the same story here.
If you haven't seen his save from Valencia already, then make sure you go check out the FIMCEV Instagram. Go and have a look at it now. An unbelievable save at Valencia. Somehow he stayed on the machine, even though both feet were skywards. I think he had one hand off the handlebar as well. It was an incredible save, but he managed to recover and then win the race. An incredible performance, so hopefully we can see more of the same. And here is a man to keep your eye on as well, the number 92 of Diogo Moreira. All I have to say is, and you'll be able to realise what a talent he is that the recent test here about 2 or 3 weeks ago for the Moto3 and Moto2 guys before the Catalan Grand Prix, Jaume Masia, of course, riding for the Red Bull KTM IO squad with Aki Ayo, had an injury. So who did Aki Ayo call upon to draft in and do the test for the squad? That man right there. And if Aki Ayo has got his eye on you as a rider, then he's probably pretty quick.
Yeah, we know what Aki Ayo is like for picking out talented young riders. Obviously, his riders at the moment leading both Moto2 and Moto3 World Championships. So if Aki Ayo likes you and wants to put you on his test bike, I think that's pretty much the best, well, it's the best word you can have for your resume to go forward in your career, certainly at all. This is the teammate of the man we've just been speaking about, Diogo Moreira. This is Jose Antonio Rueda. Rueda's been doing quite well this year. He's had a little bit of trouble in the races, not been quite up that top end, but still another man that's been pretty fast in qualifying. He's been really good. So watch out for him as well as he comes through the pack from 7th.
He's a pocket rocket, is Rueda. So starting from the 3rd row and with the monster start-finish straight we've seen here, he's going to be in the mix, no doubt. All he has to do is be in that leading group and he will draft past and fire past quite a few men. That is guaranteed. Great to see some fans here in attendance. it's not great to see the fact that in Moto 2 later we won't see Tiger Harder. A big high side coming through turn 3 of all places on his Moto 2 bike in free practice means that unfortunately he's out of this one. But Joel Kelso will be flying the flag for the AGR squad in this one. Turned 18 yesterday, so hopefully the Australian didn't have too many beers to celebrate that one. And he's ready to go from the 3rd row of the grid. He needs to see a checkered flag, does Kelso, because he's not seen one all year round. He's been unfortunate with either crashes through his own fault or been involved in other people's incidents as well. But he's had the pace. He's qualified brilliantly, but he's just not been able to see a checkered flag yet. Speaking to him yesterday, he said, race 1, I have to see the checkered flag. Then race 2, I'm going to be pushing for a little bit of a birthday present. Hopefully we'll see him on the podium. Here's the man second in the championship, David Salvador, aboard the TM machine. And he's had a good start to the year. Consistency has allowed him to move through into second in the championship, despite not really being in the mix for fighting for the podium in Valencia last time out. His pace doesn't look that great, to be perfectly honest, throughout free practice here as well. But if it's a group battle and he can get amongst it, he's got plenty of experience in this class to be able to battle his way through to the front. Yeah, well, we know what Moto 3 is like. As long as you can get into that group and get towed along, often you can find kind of a couple attempts, maybe in half a second, on what your pace has been in free practice. So we're winding down now. We're coming up towards where we're going to start for the grid. And that's your man on pole, just getting the final fist bumps in, ready to go. Here we go. 16 laps of the Junior World Championship coming up. So then, here we go for race 1 of the day. And on pole position is Mario Aji, the Indonesian. First ever pole position. Alongside him is Jose Julian Garcia. Watch out for him. He was quick in warm-up this morning. Third place is Takuma Matsuyama. Second row, Ivan Ortola. Danny Holgado, championship leader, who has that long lap penalty. Diogo Moreira in 6th. 7th is Jose Antonio Rueda, Joel Kelso and David Salvador. And row 4, Sayo Rifuddin Asman, Josh Watley and Scott Ogden. Watch out for Marco Tapia in 13th. David Alonso 14th. He has a long lap penalty as well. And Luca Lanetta in 15th. Clement Rouge is in 16th. Jon Sant van den Gorberg is 17th. And the first of the Munoz in 18th. The second Munoz brother is in 19th. From David Real, Sho Nishimura in 21st. The next row of the grid is Gerard Rieu, Noah Detwiller and Colin Vaya, followed up by Nicola Carraro, Senna Aguis and Bill Van Erde. Then rounding out the grid, we have Tachikon Busari, Mattia Volpi, Raffaele Fusco, Filippo Farioli, Eddie O'Shea, Alessandro Morosi and Marcos Ruda. Tachikon Bawazri, the Thai rider, in case we've got anybody from Thailand tuning in, which I'm sure we do. They love their Grand Prix racing down there. Unfortunately, we'll have to also go through the long lap penalty loop in our first race of the day. Going slow in qualifying, looking for a tow yesterday. That's what he was penalised for. So the numbers to keep your eye on, the 3 men or boys, shall we say, since it's Junior World Championship, they'll have to go for the long lap penalty loop right there at turns 1 and 2. We think it will cost them about 4 seconds. The men to keep your eye on are the championship leader, the number 96 of Danny Holgado, the reigning European Talent Cup champion, David Alonso, also on the Gas Aspar machine, and the Honda Racing Thailand man, the number 33 of Tachikon Bawazri. So those are the men to look out for. They'll be going through the long lap penalty loop at some stage during the race. They don't decide when to go. Race direction will give them an indication, and from that point forwards, they've got 3 laps to be able to take it. Look at that, blue skies, the sun shining down. Why would you want to be anywhere else? Absolutely perfect conditions for our opening race of the day. 5 races across 5 hours. Oh, we're in for some afternoon of FIMCV Repsol racing. And the big question is, starting from pole position, can Indonesia's Super Mario Aji finally taste victory? In fact, can he finally taste podium success in this championship? He's been here for 3 years now, a best of 4th on 2 occasions. He's been on the top 5 on a further 2 occasions as well. Forever the bridesmaid. Is today the day for Aji? Well, it may well be. All weekend he's looked fantastic, and I have to say in warm-up this morning, which was only a
about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, his pace was fantastic. Obviously, track temperatures since then will have come up, so certainly it'll be slightly different temperatures from before. But one other final thing to point out is there is absolutely zero wind this morning. Yesterday, there was a massive amount of wind, and in qualifying, they were saying it was costing them up to half a second because they had to get into the slipstream to be able to defeat it. But this morning, with zero wind, possibly the slipstream would be a little bit less of an advantage, and someone maybe like Mario Aggi or someone else at the front can try and break away in a small pack.
If it's not to be Aggi's day, will history await for Holgado? Only 2 men in Junior World Championship history have won 4 races in a row. Ethan Guevara on his way to the title last year, and Fabio Quartararo. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's pretty good. We have to go back a long, long way for the last time a rider won 5 races in a row, which is a possibility today for Holgado. Paul Espargaro in 2006, 15 years ago, the last time that happened. Before we look at 5 in a row, he needs to look at completing the fantastic 4 first. A long lap penalty ahead of him, and also a grid of 33 riders looking to get the better of him. The green flag waves at the back. Here we go then. The opening race of the Junior World Championship. Round 3 gets underway here in Barcelona now, and Aggi fires away from pole position for the very first time, but it's going to be Josito Garcia who'll pull side by side with him, and Holgado from row 2, the championship leader, fires through and will take the whole shot into the opening corner. What a start from the 96.
That was an incredible start, absolutely rocket launch down the outside of him into turn 1 to lead, and it's not Bulatri, sorry, it is Matsuyama through up into second place, as it looks like, or maybe one of the talent team boys has gone on the inside on the Australian Galicia machine.
It looks like it's Moreira that's battled his way through there. There's also Rueda in the mix as well. Ortola's up there, the 24, 4 abreast as we come down towards turn 4 for the very first time, and it's now Matsuyama that takes over at the front. The Japanese rider, fresh from Grand Prix experience here last week, hits the front and is looking to pull away nice and early. Rueda, the pocket rocket, was there in third before Ortola dives up the inside at turn 5.
Yeah. Someone's gone down. 2 riders gone down. 3. One more in the gravel trap. Looks like one of the Husqvarna runners. Not too sure who the 2 are down there. Is that one of the MT Foundation bikes?
It is one of the MT77 Foundation bikes. Could be further down the field, possibly Sho Nishimura. We'll get indication very shortly. At the front, though, it's still Matsuyama that leads the way as we come down towards the revamped turn 10 for the very first time.
Well wide.
High and wide there was David Real, and here comes Holgado. He got the elbows out again there, and he squeezes his way through. I tell you what, that's Ortola that's gone down. The number 24 Ortola, the rear end kicks out, and down he goes. He's going to rejoin, but surely that's any chance of victory gone for Ortola. The man 3rd in the championship. That's one of Holgado's closest rivals, already out on lap 1.
Yeah, a rare mistake from Ortola. He's been one of the men this year that has made 0 mistakes, completely consistent. So that is uncharacteristic from him. As we see Mario Aggi now diving up the inside into the final corner, recovering after that slow start. So across the line for lap 1, it's going to be Holgado who leads just from Matsuyama, and Aggi behind. It looks like it's that Jose Julio Garcia coming down now. It looks like he's maybe going to lead into turn 1. Oh, look at this on the grass.
Moreira was pushed onto the grass by his teammate there. They were, fanning out 6-7 abreast on the run down to turn 1. Goodness gracious me, that was a hold your breath moment. So close. They're clocking on as they're going down there, and he's having to go onto the grass of all places. Unbelievable. And as a result of that, the shuffling, the shaking, it's Matsuyama who's back out front now. But here comes Holgado. He's not messing around today. Garcia's there in 3rd, or was pushed wide. That looks to be, I think, Aggi squeezing through into 3rd. Is it? Yes, it is. But Garcia will swing back in front of him, and then around the outside of Matsuyama. But he's able to hold on as the Japanese rider. What a start this is. These guys are certainly not waiting until the final laps to get the elbows out.
No, they're certainly not. And a little shout out to the man that is now up into 5th, Sayarifudin Azman, up from 10th on the grid, I think he was. Yes, he was 10th on the grid. Sayarifudin Azman on the move, coming now down to challenge for the top 4. I think actually he's just been dive bombed by his teammate into turn 9. We'll have to check as soon as they come round.
So halfway through the second lap here, we've got a leading group of 13 that have just managed to escape. The last man attached onto it is Leopard's Marco Tapia, whereas the chasing group is currently fronted by the oldest man in the field, the 20-year-old Gerard Rio on the MT Foundation 77 machine. Holgado that leads the way then with the junior talent team machines of Matsuyama and Aji in second and third, Josito Garcia there in fourth. And just have a look at the pace of the well, the KTM machine of Holgado as we come through the final corner onto the start finish here. Josito Garcia, the man in fourth early this week, said that he really does feel that the Hondas, and at the moment we've got Hondas second all the way back down to Diego Moreira in seventh, just don't have the top end speed compared to the gas. Holgado's leading the way, and even though they are buried in the slipstream, it's taken them some time to be able to pull alongside him and even get past him. They will in the end. Aji around the outside, rolls through and hits the front. Is wide though, that's going to compromise his run through turns 2 and 3, but he's just about going to hold on, is he? Yes, he is. Aji hits the front here in Catalunya.
Yeah, this is impressive for Mario Aji, and look at that, Ivan Ortola with the fastest lap of the race. So after that little slip off, he's remounted down in 29th with that 49.7, the only man in the whole field in the 49s. So he's riding angry and he's riding fast. Ivan Ortola on the move, see if he can catch up and get back into the points.
It's a good start from the two Muñozes there as well. You can see the purple machines, the 17 and 16, and Daniel and David, they started from 18th and 19th on the grid respectively, but they got away well and they've got themselves into the lead group. Don't be surprised to see the pair of them picking their way throughout this race. Yeah,
what we must just say though, Jack, let's hope and pray that the two Muñoz boys don't crash together like they did in Valencia race 2, I believe it was, where they crashed coming out of turn 10. It was a big high slide and they collected each other. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. I think Holgado just hit the front there through turn 9.
So here's what happened further down.
I think this may be Bill Van Erde, but I'm not too sure. That's one of the 658 boys.
It is, yeah. It was David Salvador who got tangled up in it. Wow, so David Salvador, the man second in the championship. He did go a long way back. This wasn't his incident, but he's had one elsewhere on our timing screens. This one here at turn 5 was Colin Via, the Dutchman, the Australian Senegalese, and the other Aussie, Billy Van Erde as well. But David Salvador, importantly, the man second in the championship, this has gone unnoticed, has crashed out. We don't know where. We've not seen it on our TV pictures here, but the number 38 is out of this one. So Holgado, leading the championship, has got the men second and third already crashing out as Holgado. What was he doing there? His left arm was off and then his right foot as well. He was kicking out at something. Oh, long lap penalty, long lap penalty. So there we go. He was indicating to the riders around him that I'm going straight on it, lads, so make sure you don't go with me. 4 seconds we think it's going to cost him. Will he stay with the leading group? He's just off the tail of it. So now he'll drop down to 13th, just off the back of Josh Watley there, the number 70. For any British fans tuning in, a great start. And in the leading group are two Brits, Scott Ogden, fresh from a best ever Junior World Championship qualifying, and Josh Watley also had his best qualifying, and the pair of them are in this leading group. And I tell you what, having Holgado come past them, which looks likely over the next couple of laps, is only going to help them if they can go with Holgado and he can drag them through to the front. We could have a couple of Brits fighting it out for the podium here, but a long way to go. 13 laps left of the circuit to Barcelona Catalunya, and out front it's Mario Aji that leads the way from Diego Moreira now, with Josito Garcia settling into third. And we told you to look out for those purple machines. One of the Muñozes is up there. It's the 17 of Daniel, who's already up to fourth, and only a couple of places back is David, the number 64. He's going to gain a couple of places there, isn't he? Big dive up the inside, and he'll now move through.
And that is Mario Aji. Is it Aji? Is it Aji? Yes, it is Aji. So Aji's hit the front again. So the pole man has gone back to the front with a 92 Moreira all over him now. It seems as though Julian Garcia is also up in third, just being hounded and pressured by Daniel Muñoz. So as we come across down into the final corner with 13 laps to go, when they cross this time it will be 12 laps to go. And look at the back of this group, Daniel Holgado, he's already picked off one in the group. And just to clarify, that long lap penalty cost him around 2.3 seconds. So it was nowhere near as much as the 4 that we thought it may well be. So Daniel Holgado, if you've got a sneaky bet on him to win this one, well, you may well be in luck.
Yeah, he's already made up 3 places. Now up the inside of Marco Tapia in the back of the picture, changed for the lead once again. Now it's the turn of the Brazilian Diego Moreira to lead the way. Daniel Munoz battling his way through the number 17. He's in great form so far in the Red Bull rookies. 9th overall, brother David actually leads the way at the moment, the number 64, but podium finishes in that already, and now he hits the front. The number 17 of Daniel Munoz, having started 18th on the grid, it's taken him no fewer than 4 laps to hit the front here in Montmello.
Yeah, getting busy then. He's rocketed up the order, and we know what Daniel Munoz is like. He's certainly an aggressive rider, likes to get his elbows out, so we'll have to see if he can hold them off and stay at the front for the rest of the race, or whether he's going to get shuffled back a little bit. Just a quick update on Daniel Holgado. He's up to 7th already and did set the fastest sector of the race through the first sector this lap round, so he's certainly on the charge coming back through, and he's going to be in those top 3 or 4 positions very, very shortly indeed. There you see him mid-pack on the 96. I think he's got Matsuyama just tucked in behind. Yes, he does. And once again, it seems as though Mario Aggi dives up into turn 10 and takes the lead back as Daniel Munoz pushed back to 3rd, maybe 4th. Oh, not quite. Just wipes the nose of, I think that was Rueda in 4th.
I tell you what, this is going to be a total lottery. We might as well just tick away the next 10 laps, wait till we get to 2 to go, and then we'll see what happens, because these guys are swapping and changing places at every possible opportunity. There is a, well, I was going to say a very disappointed David Salvador, but there's a big smile on his face despite crashing out on the opening lap. Frustration for him, no doubt. The man's 2nd in the championship. We put the mockers on him on the grid. We said consistency the key for him so far, never been outside of the top 10. Well, he's crashed out on the opening lap, and unfortunately those are the penalties that can sometimes come with a disappointing Saturday, Jack.
Yeah, it's just a shame for him, really. Obviously had good pace and qualified well on the 3rd row, so it was obviously in for a good race, much better than his qualifying performance last time out in Estoril, the 16th, which really hampered him in the races. So on for good points, and just an unfortunate little mistake there. I think that was Holgado. Was he signalling to the back of them just to stay behind him and work the way through? I think he was there, but anyway, Holgado tactics at play, trying to push through these guys, as now it is Rueda that leads, and the 2 Munoz boys are 3rd and 4th line astern, as they actually just swap positions now, coming down into turn 6.
There goes Aggi up the inside, hits the front once again, does the Indonesian, with Rueda absolutely burrowing himself into the bubble behind the number 16 at the first possible opportunity. They'll flick left then right here before the fast turn 9, onto the brakes just for a second and then flick it right, and then hard down the back straight before you're onto the brakes into turn 10. Probably the best passing opportunity of this circuit. Rueda immediately pulls out of the slipstream and will look to roll around the outside of Aggi, but the number 16, he does look so strong on the brakes. That is going to play him into some real favour. Oh, big crash in the background, and that's a number 92 of Moreira that's gone down with the 32 of Takuma Matsuyama. Well, Matsuyama spat over the top, and unfortunately it was Moreira, the man that had nowhere to go, and clipped the rear. Disappointment for both Matsuyama and Moreira, and that's just fractured this leading group ever so slightly. Hopefully we get good news on Matsuyama there. Yeah, he's okay. It looks as though he is injured though, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll get the medical attention to him at the first possible opportunity, which they will do now. The medical staff here, the absolute best in the world. And here's exactly what happened. You can see, yep, high side out of turn 10, and the bike just launched itself into the 92 Moreira, who was on the outside. The Brazilian, well, nothing he could do about that whatsoever. And again, it falls into the favour of Holgado, with Matsuyama 5th in the championship and Moreira 7th in the championship out of it. And despite a long lap penalty, the 96 has hit the front for a 2nd time here in Barcelona.
And already breaking away. Just set the fastest first sector of the entire race and is now pulled out almost 3/10 of a lead. Looks as though Jose Julian Garcia is going to dig his teeth in and see. Oh no, he's not! Commentator's curse. He's lost the front at turn 6 and down he goes. I am so sorry, Garcia. Oh, that was a bad one on my part. Glad to see that he's okay, and just pride damaged and a little bit frustrated.
Oh, he said before the weekend, I cannot make any more mistakes, did Josito Garcia, after crashing out in this first race in Valencia. No fault of his own, tangling up with David Alonso. but now another crash. We'll see Danny Holgado, if he can see the checkered flag. Let's not put any curse on him with 10 laps to go. He's going to extend his championship lead out even further. We can see the yellow flags, double waved yellows, still there at turn 10 as Matsuyama is helped to safety. Here's what happened with Garcia, Jack. Just a classic turn 5 crash.
Yeah, just trail braking a little bit too much. You just saw that front fold. He tried to save it for a second. Fair play to him, trying to hang on to the handlebars, probably trying to pull the clutch in to make sure that the bike doesn't stall, but unfortunately he is down and out as the 658 team look on in anger. Oh, look at this. That half a second gap has closed right up. So it seems that Mario Aggi has the pace to go with the championship leader at this time in the race. 9 laps to go. Let's see if he can hang on.
Well, that crash from Garcia out of second has just forced both Daniel and David Munoz and Rueda there in third as well to lose touch with our leading duo. It's Holgado and Aggi currently leading the way with about, what's that, half a second, 3/4 of a second back from Aggi to the man in third, Rueda, although not for long with both Munozes looking to get up the inside. A big look over the shoulder from Holgado there. He can see there's a gap, and that's exactly why he tapped onto the rear of his gas machine and said to Mario Aggi behind him, look, don't be looking to dive bomb me here. Let's work together. Let's pull clear, and then the pair of us can go at it in the final couple of laps. But let's make it easy for ourselves here and at least guarantee first and seconds no matter what. Whether that happens, who knows? Aggi does have experience in this class, but as we've seen so far on a number of occasions, he's fairly partial to a dive bomb or two.
Yeah, he certainly is. He doesn't mind trying to stick it up the inside. And I tell you what, Jack, just looking at the timing screens here, Ivan Ortola is up to 12th place. Wow, that is quite incredible. He's been running in the 49s all race long, so he's been picking up almost half a second, well, 3/4 of a second on the people in front of him all race. And also just in this top 10 group, we'd just like to point out the two Brits, Scott Ogden up in 7th and Josh Watley in 9th. Two good rides coming in from the young Brits. Certainly confidence-building performances from those two boys.
Yeah, great rides from them. They will be learning an awful lot as well, still in the early stages of their Junior World Championship career. Ogden into his second full season now with the Asal squad, and Josh Watley having moved through from the European Talent Cup as well. Great to see them battling in this leading group, and a good ride coming from the number 63 there as well, Saifuruddin Azman, one of the next big Malaysian hopes to come through. We've got the Sepang International Circuit Petronas Sprinter Racing boss Razlan Razli here watching on, and he'll be cheering on his man as well, the number 63, having his best ride of his career as he looks to hang it around the outside there as well. As we said a lap ago, Holgado and Aggi were going to try work together, but Rueda's got the pace. He's managed to pull them in, and suddenly we've got 5 at the front once again. And it's going to be Rueda, having picked off Aggi at the first corner. Now to hit the front, is it? In towards turn 4 we go, but no, Holgado hard on the brakes, as is Aggi as well. He's going to hang it around the outside. He'll have the inside line into turn 5, and he'll hold on to second, will the Indonesian. Good move there from the 16.
Just about to say Aggi may well line him up here, but no, looks like that sweeping line of Holgado just lets the brakes off and runs it round the outside of Aggi's nose. Takes a big long look over his shoulder, sees about, well, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes all behind him, so he's got company certainly, and he definitely knows it now. So Holgado is not getting away with this one, and he's just taking his hand off the handlebar again there. Maybe he's just signaling to Aggi to just stay behind him, work together and try and shake off some of the other runners that are just behind. Oh, he needs to be careful there, Aggi. That's a few times he's ran out onto the green. If he's not too careful, he's going to get a track limits warning for that as he dives up the inside into the lead now past Holgado.
Well, there goes that contract that Holgado and Aggi had signed about helping each other. They've ripped that up within, what, 2 laps and thrown it out of the window. Aggi dive bombs him into turn 10, and it's back to normal business in the Junior World Championship. There goes Rueda as well, looking for a move through turn 12 there. That's a brave place to get the job done. He thinks better of it, quite rightly as well. So Aggi leads the way then. Half race distance is now completed. 7 laps remaining in Montmello, and I am no closer to knowing who's going to win this one.
Yeah, certainly not. I mean, we've just seen Aggi come across the line with a good 3 or 4 bike lengths gap, and look at that, he's probably going to be back to third. Or not quite, just slips back into second place, but he's gone wide there, and possibly Daniel Munoz may be able to nick the place off him. Sorry, David Munoz, I do apologise, but no, holds on to second, and Holgado back into the lead. These guys, well, I mean, it's a complete lottery. We've said so many times, we have no idea who's going to lead this one. It seems that even coming out the last corner on the run to the line, they're occasionally able to beat them to it, so it's not going to be done until the final few metres.
There's going to be a few nervous riders here as we get into the closing stages, because Holgado obviously has got the experience of winning races and being on the podium, a multiple-time podium finisher, and obviously has started the year with 3 straight victories. But you look further down, Adji never had a podium finish, best of 4th. David Munoz there in 3rd, never had a podium finish, best of 5th. Rueda never had a podium finish, a best of 6th. We keep going. Asman there in 5th, he's never been on the podium, a best of 4th place. Daniel Munoz, he's never tasted the podium as well, a best of 4th for him. And then on the back of this leading group, Scott Ogden, he's never tasted the podium as well. Oh, and there he is. That's Matteo Volpi that's pulled in. I thought it was Joel Kelso, but he's just been tailed off this leading group, has the Australian there in 8th. You can see him just in the backgrounds there. We're left with 7 at the moment, with Adji leading the way. But as I was saying, 6 of the leading 7 have never been on the podium, so I think we might get a few twitches as we go into the final laps with a debut podium suddenly coming into play.
Yeah, we certainly will be having a few twitches, no doubt. And not just that, you know, regardless of personal best finishes from seasons past, even in this season alone, Asman hasn't even finished in the top 10 yet. So to be running, what is he, 2/10 off the lead, off the win now? This is such a good ride for him and real confidence booster coming into race 2 later today, and also the rest of the rounds later this year.
There goes Rueda up into 3rd place with Holgado back at the front. There's Hiroshi Ayama, the boss man of the Honda Asia Talent team, and obviously in the World Championship, well, keeping his eye on the likes of Ayagura, Yuki Kuni, and the rest as well, doing a great job. And I'm sure that both Adji and Matsuyama, who's unfortunately crashed out if you're just joining us, will be making their way through into the World Championship paddock in the very near future, especially if they continue as they have done at the start of 2021, as Adji hits the front once more. He's not bothered about leading, his Adji. He does seem really, really comfortable at the front.
Yeah, he does, and I tell you what, he's got some real mumbo on the brakes. I mean, he threw it into turn 4 there, just let the brakes off and just ran it round with the corner speed. We've seen him have a couple of twitches on the rear, he's applying the power, but if he can keep that corner speed going, he can maybe just conserve that rear tyre. And as we pointed out right at the start of this race, the rear tyre, it's about this time where they're going to be coming into a few little troubles, maybe squirming and touching on the rear, but certainly at the moment it seems that everyone is in line and has enough tyre left for now.
Yeah, speaking to a couple of the riders yesterday, with the temperature just starting to creep up now, we'll see this more in race 2 later on. They said they did around a 13-14 lap run, and as they got to lap 10 or 11, they suddenly felt a big drop on the rear tyre. We're now on lap number 10. Next time around, very, very shortly, as we fire into the final corner, this will be lap 11. So these guys may well be just starting to feel the effects of the temperature here in Catalunya, with a big moment for Danny Holgado. He just got off the edge of the curb out of the final corner, and that caused that rear wheel just to snake from left to right. All okay though, he was back into the slipstream and he's able to hold on to 4th place.
Yeah, Mario Adji's pitboard there, you may well have just seen it on the shot. Absolutely no information on it other than track limits, and the mechanic pointing to him and saying, think, you've got to be careful of those track limits. We've seen him a few times now where he's gone across the green, and if he does it once or maybe twice more, he will get that long lap penalty, and that at this stage of the race will be very costly indeed.
Yeah, he's got to be careful now, has to be careful. You can see he has been wide, you know, he really has been super flamboyant with his lines, for the want of a better word. He's not been sort of sticking with the rest of the guys at all. He's been wide at places, sweeping through, and as a result he's been onto the green on a couple of occasions. But as you rightly say, Jack, he has to be careful now.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's just popped up on our timing screens that he has officially been given a track limits warning. So not only a warning from the team, and there you go, it's just popped up on your screens for you there. Track limits warning for rider number 16, that is Mario Adji, the pole man. So he needs to be very careful now as he's going to slipstream down sorry, I'll put my teeth back in, Jose Antonio Rueda, and it looks as though he's going to dive one back into the lead. He loves that move into turn 10, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. But then he always goes wide there, and that's going to leave an opportunity maybe for someone to possibly come alongside him. But the beauty of that line is, even if they're able to pull alongside him through turn 11, he's got the inside line into 12 and he's able to block them off instantly. So it's proving costly for the other riders at the moment, the fact that Adji looks to have such an advantage on the brakes into turn 10. You have to say, if he's 2nd or 3rd on the final lap going into turn 10, it looks like he's going to be a hard man to beat as the 16.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's very confident with the front end of that Honda, but one place where he is struggling is the front straight, as we see the two Munoz boys now flying in formation. Looks as though at least one of them is going to pick him off on the brakes, but once again, just as we say, I shouldn't have even bothered doubting him. Mario Aggi absolutely fantastic on the brakes and holds on to the lead.
Yeah, he does. Still the 16 that leads the way here in Barcelona. Round 3 of the FIM-CV Repsol. 4 laps remaining on our first of 2 Junior World Championship races, with an Indonesian leading the way. He's got a cluster of Spaniards behind him before we have the Malaysian of Saifuddin Azman in 6th, and Scott Ogden still hanging in there in 7th. A great ride this is from Ogden, a best of 8th so far in his Junior World Championship career. So if he can cling on and get himself dragged through to the checkered flag, even pick up a couple of spots on the closing couple of laps, this is going to be a best ever ride from the young Brit. Great performance coming from the 26th at the back of this group.
Yeah, it really is. Very good performance. And we see this so often from Scott. He's not particularly a qualifier. This year alone, he's been 14th and 19th on the grid. And then today, 12th, his PB qualifying by quite some way. But even last year, we saw that he often raced much better than he qualified. So certainly a Sunday man, and he's showing it once again here. Although he's just that 10th and a half off the back of the group. Hopefully he can slipstream him on the straight now and get involved with 3 laps to go as we come round next time.
Certainly flying the flag is the former British Talent Cup champion from 2019. Of course, that series will get underway very shortly in 2021 with the opening round at Alton Park coming up shortly. Back at the front though, and it's Mario Aggi that still leads the way, and he's just starting to pull the pin, is it? The elastic is stretching at the front of this race, with the number 64 of David Munoz and teammate Daniel Munoz tucked in behind, trying their very best to go with him. The pair of them, the purple machines on KTM machinery, and we seem to think that the KTM just has the advantage on top end speed. They're both tucked in the slipstream. One goes left, one goes right, and they fire their way to the front of this race. But the pocket rocket Rueda, he must weigh what? No less than 6 or 5 stone, dripping wet through.
Yeah.
And he's no more than 5 foot as well. As you can see on the bike, he's certainly helping him down that start-finish straight.
Yeah, only about as heavy as a couple of bags of sugar, right? He's absolutely featherweight, isn't he? And it's certainly helping him on the straight there, as Mario Aggi's certainly getting a bit busy. Azman's all the way out on the green. I think he got forced out there by one of the Munoz boys. But yeah, holding station for now. And Holgado, look at this, just when it gets down to crunch time, up into those top 2 positions. He's a gamer, isn't he? He really is a proper racer.
Yeah, Holgado just always seems to find his way back into the top 2 or 3 places as we get into the closing laps. Hiroshi Ayama, pensive,
yes,
I think is the best way to put it.
Certainly, yeah, looking very nervous. And of course, Hiroshi Ayama, absolutely instrumental in the development of all those guys under his wing. Trains with them, gives them advice, everything. So certainly he will have told them 100 times what to do in this sort of scenario. So Mario Aggi really, well, he's armed with very good knowledge indeed, and certainly very good performance on the brakes. As we see him now coming down to turn 10, he's going to dive bomb Daniel Munoz and up into 4th.
And this will be a warning shot for Mario Aggi, both the 13 of Marco Tapia and the 19 of Alessandro Morosi. Tapia in 10th, Morosi a little bit further down the field, have been handed long lap penalties for track limits. So Aggi has to be careful here. He will be handed a long lap penalty if he continues to go into the green stuff. Ever since been handed that warning, he's been keeping it on the tarmac and not onto the green stuff. So let's hope that can continue. With now just 2 laps remaining here in Montmello, and it's Rueda that leads the way from Munoz and Holgado. 7 riders battling it out for win, and all 7 of them have an equal chance at victory here.
Yeah, look at this, about 4 or 5 abreast. Holgado right on the outside. Look at David Munoz looking across at him, and it seems as though Holgado's just swept it over the nose and into the lead, but he's in a Munoz sandwich with them 1st and 3rd.
Daniel Munoz hits the front then, but he's wide through turn 3. A chance for both Holgado and David Munoz to come through, but he'll hold on to it as we come up towards turn 4. Here comes Holgado looking up the inside, no way through. Oh, big moment, big moment for the race leader Daniel Munoz. The front end went from beneath in them. He's just able to hold on, but he's dropped back down to 6th place as a result, and Holgado will hit the front.
Yep, new pair of undercrackers, please, for that man. That was a huge moment. Fair play trying to save it, but it does mean he's got a whole load of work to do now with a lap and a half. As see Rueda, he's making a move down up into the inside at turn 7. He goes up into P3. and we have a yellow flag at Marshall Post 2, but that's not going to affect these guys on this lap at least, so hopefully that is all sorted by the time we get... Well, it just popped up a crash.
Yeah, incorrect graphic, that one. The 64, David Munoz, is still there in 4th place. Here's a dress rehearsal for 1 lap time. Holgado hard onto the brakes, wow. He just about gets it stopped. The rear end kicking out there, and he absolutely parked it. There's Clement Rouget, just been helped away after crashing out at turn number 2. Back at the front though, and it's still Holgado that leads into the final sector for the penultimate time. Let's see if that gas machine has got the legs to be able to take him to the start-finish line in case it's a drag to the flag in 1 lap's time. Here we go, Holgado out to the final corner. Adji gets a good run. Has that Honda got the top end to be able to draft its way past? Here comes the start-finish line there, and that gas machine has got some legs on it. It looks as though Holgado, if he leads out the final corner, surely will be able to make it 4 in a row. But he's got problems. Yellow flags waving. Yellow flags were waving there, and Adji has hit the front, and it looks as though he wasn't the only man to move through, with David Munoz also going through. So let's just bear that in mind here. Mario Adji has hit the front, but he did make his move to hit the front with yellow flags clearly waving.
Yep, so there may well be some doubt cast over this result at the end of this lap. But look at that, 4 abreast. Wow, who was that? That was Holgado being pushed all the way out. So championship leader, the man that's won 3 in a row, going for 4. He's all the way back in 6th. He's got a lot of work to do now. And even for Holgado, this may well be too much.
Well, he's got a target on his back as the championship leader. And you could see that there with both Estrella Galicia boys, Asman and Rueda, nudging him out of the way. Asman has come from nowhere. He's sort of kept in the shadows of this leading group, but he's up there in 4th. He's just had 3rd stolen away by the 17 of Daniel Munoz. Meanwhile, the fight for victory is down to these leading 2, Mario Adji and David Munoz. Daniel Munoz there as well. Adji is going to be so late on the brakes here. You're going to have to be a brave man to outbrake him into the final corner. But here comes Munoz. Contact between the pair of them. He pushes them wide, does Daniel Munoz. And there is disappointment in the junior talent team box. A chance at victory blown for Mario Adji through no fault of his own. And suddenly into the final sector. And it's Asman that leads. The Malaysian has hit the front, lurking in the shadows for the majority of this race. But suddenly he'll lead them into the final corner. Rueda, his teammate, will look to squeeze through on Munoz ahead of him, but victory for the first time in his Junior World Championship career will go the way of Saifuddin Asman. What a race, what a victory for the Malaysian.
What an incredible performance. Outstanding last few laps from Saifuddin Asman. How on earth did he avoid all the chaos there? I think every single rider had 3 or 4 huge moments coming down into turn 10 there, but the one man, cool, calm and collected, Asman picked his line and through from 10th on the grid. What a ride.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. A best result previously of 4th place. This is Malaysia's next young hope. That is guaranteed, with boss Razlan Razli here in attendance as well, with the Sitch squad on the side of his bike, delighting their box. The underdog has come through and taken a debut victory. Incredible scenes. You can see Razlan Razli there in the side of the picture. He will be delighted with this one. And look at this. He's come from nowhere. He was 5th going into turn 10. Contact between David Munoz and Adji, then Daniel Munoz won in ride. And suddenly he's come through from nowhere to hit the front. I bet he could not believe his luck.
Oh, incredible. 5th to 1st in one corner. You can see there, heartbreak for Mario Adji's team, the junior talent team. He rode an incredible race at the front the whole race long. But that man, I mean, you just saw him on the outside, casual like a Sunday cruise, just tipped it in. And, well, I mean, everyone went wide, and he just drove it under and got that Honda all the way up into P1. Superb stuff from the young Malaysian. Fantastic.
Wow. Delight for the Estrella Galicia squad as well, because not only has Saifuddin Asman picked up a debut victory in the championship, but we've also got a first ever podium for Jose Antonio Rueda as well. The young Spaniard, just 15 years of age, will step up onto a Junior World Championship podium for the first time, as will this man as well, David Munoz, leading the Red Bull Rookies Championship at the moment. And now he's jumping onto the podium in the Junior World Championship as well. What a couple of weeks it's been for him. Victory in the Red Bull Rookies in Mugello, and now, having battled through from 19th on the grid, he's onto the podium, having finished 2nd. An incredible way to start the day in Barcelona. Asman was not given a prayer at the start of this race, having started a long, long way back on the grid, but he's battled his way through to hit the front fifth into turn 10, and somehow he's won the race. Incredible. Holgado, though, he will extend his championship lead, 4th place after a long lap penalty. I'm sure he will be disappointed not to have continued that winning streak, but the championship leader picking up a valuable 13 points, especially with the fact that his closest championship rival, David Salvador, couldn't see the checkered flag. And also a shout out for Ivan Ortola, having crashed out in the early stages, did battle his way through to a top 10 finish. 6 points for him. But here are the celebrations in Parc Fermé. Asman, understandably.